Here's another new piece, the Crumar Mojo Classic dual manual digital organ. And this is not a playing demo. I'm just using cell phone audio. There are plenty of other demos of people doing gospel and jazz music on it, which most people want to hear. This is the perspective of using it in the Genesis show. So it uses the VB3-2 software from GSI, which I have and like very much. I think I used it on a lot of my videos that I had an organ sound next to the CP80. And then I switched to the IK Multimedia Hammond B3X, which I like very much. However, there's one thing I don't like about it. And that is when you double up on chords on both manuals, it doubles the sound, the volume output. Whereas this kind of, I only have one hand right now, so, you know, on a real Hammond, the tone wheels are borrowed across the manuals. So you don't have a volume boost if you play two chords, the same chords at the same time. So that was a weird flaw in the B3X, which maybe they solved in an update. So like the Mellotron, I wanted to run a hardware version so I could go into effects. Mainly that Tony Banks had a spinet organ, the T series. Before that, he had the L series. And he was running into Leslie's with preamps. And I was assuming he took a mix out of his mixer and ran it into the Leslie. So you'd have, if you were holding chords on the organ and the Mellotron, you'd have them both coming through the Leslie at the same time. So I'm going to defeat the Leslie effect on this and use the ventilator pedal in my insert on my mixer, which I haven't done yet. So right now I'm just using everything is internal to the Leslie effect there. So what are my settings? So there's a software editor. It's actually in a Google Chrome browser. And out of all these generator settings, it's all, whoa. I guess that was off, right? Okay, I can't remember what the default is. I'll have to go back and watch the video. They're all models of CB3A100 in that family. So I literally just went to the one that was the latest, the closest to the 70s. I don't know. Is that right? I'm going to see how it sounds in the mix in the band. And then this stuff I'm leaving as is. And then for the resistor wires, you've got, it comes default to old. You can switch it to new or spinet, which the Tony's L and T series organs were spinet organs. Again, I don't have one. I have a B3 upstairs. I'm not going to A-B this and that, but I'm going to take their word for it because they're the ones that did all this. So I put it on spinet. Now, the instruction manual says that when you do spinet, it turns the foldback off automatically. And this is the foldback on the 16-foot drawbar and the lowest octave of the organ. And they say if you turn this off, turn the complex wheels off, it changes it to a sine wave. You can read about that if you want. I'm going to tell you that I put it on spinet. I didn't notice the difference of this. But then when you go to the organ, hold on, I have this window open. There's my good old T-Series manual. Obviously, the notes don't go down low enough to even worry about the lowest octave on this piano, this organ. So he only really played from here to here. And then the lower manual was from that F to that C. So this lower manual did not have, you can see it there. The lower manual does not have the lower two drawbars, the 16-foot. So if you're setting up accurately to spinet sounds for Genesis music, it wouldn't, that foldback setting is not important. Now, maybe some of you that have a spinet model and a console like I do could tell me that you've A/B'd them and you notice XYZ. But just based on the parts that I'll be playing, I'm not going to worry about foldback. So spinet wiring, 1970 A100 generator. And if you have the percussion on, you can only use the percussion when your upper manual is on manual. So here's like here's a Jimmy Smith type sound. You turn the percussion on. Tony never used third, he used second. And I think he had the normal volume and the fast speed. Let's see, maybe he did have the slow speed. Okay, I revised that. That sounds like, if you listen to the 1976 live versions of Robbery, Assault, and Battery after that organ break, you can clearly hear that. I don't even know if I'm in the right key. That you can hear go gow. Now, his T100 had a mod, a percussion mod. I tried, Dave Kersner had it for a while, and I had messaged him. I said, please notate or take note of what that does. I didn't know if it meant you could play legato and still have it activated. He never, I don't think he ever found out what that was. But I have a feeling it was the mix of the percussion. When you have it on the normal volume and not the soft, the drawbar registration goes down a lot. So I beefed that. This is a preset here, percussion dropout. And I just turned it up to kind of match what it would be with the percussion off. By ear. I didn't use a loudness meter. Maybe I'll do that in super nerdy fashion, but so those are the internal settings I made. There's also an effects editor. Now, I'm a little disappointed in this. In all my Mojo GSI research, at some point I remember them saying a spring reverb. This is not a spring reverb. This is a Lush digital stereo reverb. And I think it's after the Leslie. I'm not 100% on that, but it doesn't sound like it's before the Leslie. Now, if you had a spinet organ with spring reverb like Tony did, it was a spring reverb in the organ, and it went into a Leslie preamp pedal to his Leslie 760, which means the reverb would get wobbly coming out of the Leslie. But the good news is that Tony didn't use a fast Leslie, so it's a little less noticeable. And since I will be defeating this and running it through a pedal, I will get reverb before the Leslie effect. So he did turn the reverb on. It wasn't a knob, it was a tab, you know, the in between that stuff, and a lot of stuff in Supper's Ready and Fountain of Salmacis. Probably some other things that I'll notice more now that I will be paying attention to it. So this is really cool. It's too much organ if you're just getting it for Genesis music. But and this exists in software form, VB32. It's in fact the new update of it probably is better than this one. I haven't seen what they added. And I'll be defeating the Leslie. So a lot of money just to pull off Genesis music. but you know, this is really good. I will tell you this, as someone who owns a real Leslie, it's pretty close, just like the IK Multimedia Leslie is also close. But when it's fast, you can just hear it. My ears can hear it. It just doesn't sound it's whenever I hear a fast Leslie that's digital, and that goes for the ventilator pedal too. That's the giveaway to me. That's when it sounds fake. If I hear a soundtrack or a commercial and I hear that fast Leslie, I'm like, oh, digital organ. So maybe we'll be there in a few more years. But the good news, if you're a Genesis fan, you just need it on slow. You don't need it on fast. And it's pretty darn convincing. And you can do some neat stuff. Like you can balance the low and high rotor. You can do the distance of the microphones. Another thing is click. T-series organs had a high-pass filter that rolled off the click, and some say it ruined the sound because you're also filtering out the good harmonics of the drawbars. So I have it on the lower side. I'll turn the percussion off. Here it is all the way up. I like it all the way up because you can hear the attack more. So these are all things that I may tweak once I get in the rehearsal space with the band. Those are my initial thoughts. Sorry, it's not a lot of playing, but like I said, there's other demos for that.